Hey guys, how's it going? It's Olga, and I wanted to film a video about something a little bit different. It's actually going to be about Social Security disability, and I will be using this here book as just a reference point because it is hard to keep all that information in my head and just remember it all. This is by Nolo, who's the publisher, I guess, and they also have a pretty helpful website, nolo.com, and this has just about everything you might want to know about disability. As you can see, it's a pretty thick book. This one just go into the children's one, which I will not go into in my tutorial. I will actually be starting a series. So today I'm just going to kind of go into the basics of it and see if I get any comments or any likes or anything. And then I will decide whether or not to continue the series. Before I've just done makeup tutorials, so this is something completely different, but it is something that I am dealing with right now in my life, that being applying for a disability. I myself am in an appeals process, so that means I've got denied once, technically twice, but my case is a very complicated one, so I don't even think I'm going to go into my case very much in this video just because it might throw some people off because it's very complicated. The dates are all kind of weird, so it's kind of more advanced. I actually do have a lawyer, and if you're thinking about getting a lawyer, I would suggest to go visit a few lawyers. I made the mistake of going with the first lawyer I saw, and I've just had all sorts of problems. Not every lawyer is the same. You're not going to get the same quality of service from every lawyer. So that might actually be like the number one question, is to get a lawyer or not. I would say if you have a simple case, what is a simple case? Well, let's start with what is Social Security, I guess. So, Social Security, as you know, there's the retirement part that you get when you're older. And then there's another part, the disability part, that's called Social Security Disability Insurance, which I will be referring to as SSDI for short in this video. So that's kind of a branch. Well, it is a branch off of Social Security, the retirement that we all pay into every single month. Those of us that work at a job that deducts taxes. So it's something that you're paying into if you're working at a job that deducts taxes. So you're building that pot. And then if you get disabled, where you can't no longer work, then you are getting kind of paid out of that pot. That's kind of the idea, is that you're paying into it. It's like insurance, like a car insurance. We pay every month in case we get into an accident. It's not like, just randomly, you hit another car and then just out of the kindness of your insurance, some insurance company just pays you money to get your car fixed. You pay into it every month. Same concept with Social Security. You pay into it, and as a matter of fact, to collect disability benefits through the SSDI program, Social Security Disability Insurance Program, you will need to have worked a certain amount and had a certain amount of taxes deducted from your paycheck to go towards the fund. So you can't just go work for a month and then get Social Security disability. That's not how it works. Depending on your age, there's different numbers of work credits that you need to have earned in order to be eligible to even apply for the program. And a work credit is something you can get from working in a tax deducted job. You get 4 credits a year, max, and get less than that. For your earnings, let me Google it real quick what it is. I think it's around $1,000 or so. For every $1,000 earned, you get one Social Security disability credit, but I'm not 100% sure. I know it changes yearly with inflation. Okay, so for 2016, the amount needed for a credit is $1,260, so $1,260. That's how much you needed to have made. So you make that amount. And that's not how much taxes they take out. That you just need to make that. Okay, to get your 1 credit. So you need to make that times 4 to get your max 4 work credits. Now most people make more than, what would that be, around 5,000 or so. Most people make more than $5,000 a year. So most people shouldn't really have much of a problem with this particular part of the application. It's kind of called the financial requirements also, is that how it's referred to in Social Security land. Yeah, so you could work, and you can make that in a month, or you can make that in the whole 12-month calendar year. They don't count like really the work, like from every 4 months or 3 months, whatever. It doesn't matter. That's your total earnings for the year. If you surpass enough for, if say you made $4,000, then you get 3 work credits. If you made over I think it's a little bit over 5,000 is the total. Whatever 1,260 times 4 is. That's for 2016. Okay, now in 2015 it was lower. In 2014 it was lower. Like in 2012, for example, it would have been. Oh, I just want to try this. Okay. Looks like it was. Oh yes, looks like it was $1,130, I believe. Yep. So 1 work credit in 2012. For every $1,130 you made, you would get 1 work credit. So after 45/20, you get your 4 work credits, and you're basically insured under this program. Now, when you go to apply for disability, they're going to check the Social Security who you apply to. They're going to check your work credits, and you can even call up the office or something, and they can tell you if you're eligible or not. Now, there's a little bit of a caveat, a little bit of a kind of side note I want to tell you guys about, is that if you became disabled, say like 4 years ago, okay, but you didn't apply for whatever reason, and then now this insurance does let you not work for a little bit. Okay, so you need to have earned, for most adults, you need to have earned 20 work credits in the last 5 out of 10 years. So as you can see, there's a little bit of leeway there. You may not have worked and applied for Social Security right away because maybe you thought you were getting better, whatever the case may be. And this is different for adults 34 and under. Okay, there's 34 and under. If you're 34 and under, it's not the 20 work credits. There's a different system they go by, and it's basically you need to have worked. Okay, you need to have received half the work credits for every year since turning 21. So 2 work credits after 21 to whatever age you are under 34. Now, what if you're 18 or 19? There's another special way they calculate that. I think you need to have made something, but I'm not honestly entirely sure. I'm nowhere near that, so I didn't really research it. So if you're in that category, then we just call the office or Google it. Okay, so that's kind of the financial part. I know I kind of flew over it a little bit, but if you have any questions, please feel free to comment below. I will answer everybody's question. No question is a stupid question, in my opinion. So, okay, so let's say that you did qualify. You are qualified. You are currently insured. So then what do? Well, you can call up your Social Security your local Social Security office. So just Google the town you live in, Social Security office, and you'll find a number. Or there's also an 800 number, or maybe 866 toll-free number. It's kind of the national hotline that you can also call. You can get an application mailed to you, I believe, through the mail. You can go to the office and pick one up. You can do one online. You can print one up online. And then I believe you can, write in your answers or however you want to do it. Type them in if you know how to do that. There's an online application where it's actually an online form you can save it and you can re-enter into there. It gives you a re-entry number and you can re-access it later. You don't have to finish it all at once. It is a little bit overwhelming, especially if you are sick, which you most likely are if you're applying for disability, or mentally or physically. You might be in pain. You might have gotten into like a car accident, you have cancer, you might have schizophrenia, bipolar, depression, and all those things make it very difficult to focus and to finish a task, and they make it kind of hard. The language, they say it's, I believe, 8th grade level, but they're a little bit elusive as to what exactly they want from you. But my advice would be to get it done as soon as you can, and get that all turned in as soon as you can. The earlier, the better. I was not one of those people that did that, and I'm definitely suffering for it. Okay, so that's the financial part. Now, what you have to prove to them in order to receive payments is that you're disabled. Now, what does that mean? That's a pretty commonly used word in our society. Well, the Social Security Disability Administration defines it in their own special way. So that's pretty important. So their definition, I don't have this memorized, sorry, going by this book. By the way, this is, I believe, the 2012 edition. So this is page 18 of this NOLO's Guide to Social Security Disability. So I'm going to quote, just read straight from the book. For adults applying for disability, being disabled means that you are unable to engage in any substantial gainful activity because of a medically determinable physical or mental impairment. Disability must have lasted or be expected to last for a continuous period of 12 months or be expected to result in death. Okay, so substantial gainful activity, SGA. What does that mean? That just means working. Can you hold down a job, a typical job where you work 5 days a week, 8 hours every day, at the bare minimum? Well, not the bare minimum, but at the minimum. Or is there a medical reason why you cannot? Okay, so this is the big part of the disability conundrum, or whatever you want to call it. The whole meat and potatoes of the thing is proving that you cannot do so. Proving that your functioning is so limited that you cannot work that full-time job. And they're not talking like working a job as an accountant, okay? Even if you were an accountant before you, say, got into a car accident or got cancer, they unfortunately are talking about, I believe they call it unskilled labor. So you have to not be able to do even unskilled labor. So that would be something like, I'm assuming like maybe a fast food restaurant job, although to me that requires some skill, like whether working the cash register. I guess maybe something like really repetitive, like a factory job. I don't think they give an example here. But yeah, so you have to be determined not to be able to work any kind of job, basically. And through medical evidence, so hopefully you will have doctors' notes or medical evidence of some sort. A lot of medical evidence. I went as far as having my doctors fill out forms that I got online, kind of asking those different questions about functioning at work and would she be able to function at work, etc. So I had pretty cooperative doctors, so hopefully you guys do too. That's very important. If you have no medical evidence, going to be very hard for you to prove that you can't work. If anything, you know, you haven't seen a doctor at all. I mean, if anything, if you're insured now, and just go see a doctor now. Start seeing a doctor now, and hopefully you can get that problem diagnosed, and then you can apply for the disability, or start your application and make a doctor's appointment. You know, kind of tackle them both together. Because I would say, because the doctor might say that your disability started maybe 6 months ago. So I don't want to tell you to wait to see the doctor to start your application, because see how that goes. And another kind of trick is that, so say you got into a car accident. That's a really easy date of when your disability began. So you got into a car accident, broke your back, something like that. Okay, so June 5th. Okay, so that's your disability start date. Now, for other things like bipolar, it's a little bit more difficult to determine, but that's a pretty simple one. From that date, you have to wait 4 months before you can apply for disability. For whatever reason, there's a 4-month waiting period. So also, if you go back, like if you're going back to 4 years ago when you had that car accident, you're going to have to subtract 4 months from that, and that will determine how much back pay you are owed. So you can still get back pay even if you apply for a disability that began in the past. Now, I know there's limits, and some offices will approve it, some won't. I got lucky where my disability began in 2012, not 2017. My application start date was of last year, though. I've been going through this for over a year. It was September of 2016. That was still, though, 4 years prior to my application date was when I got disabled. And 2014 was when my disability insurance expired. So that's when I stopped meeting the criteria, you know, the under 34. I believe I was under 34. So having the half-time credits, 2 credits a year, every year after 21. So 2014 was when I stopped qualifying for it. So you could see it's kind of complicated. Okay, so yeah, so it's pretty hard to prove, but it can be done. I mean, there's millions of people collecting disability now. So before, when I said simple case, I don't know if you can kind of see now what I mean by a simple case. The one where you're now insured, your insurance hasn't expired yet. You have enough work credits right now. You know, you call up Social Security, or you look up online on mysocialsecurity.gov. You can create an account in there and look up your work history. And I think it even tells you as well if you're eligible for benefits or not. Or easier would be calling, I would think, but up to you. I can put a link down below for that as well. So in that case, and it's something like a car accident where there was a clear, you know, or clear mark of when it began. It's physical and not mental. I would say in that case, maybe try the first time around to apply on your own. And if you get denied, maybe get a lawyer. But for mental illness, a lot of times it's very difficult to prove. So I've heard you almost always need a lawyer, because you are going to need those forms for your doctor to fill out, which can be found online. But you know, not everybody has a computer, has a printer, maybe can navigate the internet, etc. So I would say for a more complicated case, get a lawyer, but speak to a few lawyers. Do not go with the first one you speak with. Get a little consensus of how they do things, because there's some lawyers that are like Social Security mills. You know, they have probably millions, or not millions, but thousands of clients, and you're not going to get any personalized attention. You're going to be working with paralegals. You're not going to get the one-on-one with the lawyer, which is where I'm stuck at right now. There's other ones where I've heard the myth. There's a myth, there's a legend that there's other lawyers that you can speak to directly, and you can actually go in there and talk to them and not work with just paralegals. So I would definitely not go with the first lawyer you spoke with, as I did. So I think that's about 20 minutes worth. That's enough for you guys for today. So if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Send a comment, or keep a comment. so I can know whether or not I should continue this series and get a little more in depth with you guys. I've been studying this stuff online and through books for, God, like 3 years, probably at least. Before I even started the application process, I was kind of researching it. Should I apply? Should I not? Do I qualify? Do I not? That's why I said don't procrastinate like I did. Just apply and get it going. Get that date. You want your date to be as early as you can be for the application date, because then that will definitely mean more back pay and more an easier case to win. Okay, so just comment down below. Please subscribe to my channel. I need subscribers. And other than that, just have a great day or night wherever you are. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye now.